Because for other parties, PDP is in comatose, SDP, what other parties, Labour Party, nobody is hearing anything from them. And my anger with the opposition parties is that Nigeria doesn't even have opposition. They don't. What they do, members of the ADC, P2B, tweets on, maybe if he have 1 or 2 followers, he goes to campaign for the FCT, campaign stuff. He may speak 1 or 2 things. Then Atiku, he also tweets from his X handle. But that's not what we want. Sending messages from S or doing press release or whatever it is will not change anything. It changes nothing. They don't care about what you are saying. They already have attack dogs who will come under that tweet and bash you. Go beyond all this, your tweet, all this, press release. It changes nothing. They need to see you in action. So they are doing all these things because they don't value the opposition. They think there's no opposition. That's why they are mobilizing all the governors to APC so that there will be like a one-party affair. Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is Andy Media TV. Well, it's been a sad week, if I will put it that way, in Nigeria. The way the citizens are lamenting and crying about what transpired in the National Assembly, particularly the Nigerian Senate. You recall that just yesterday, the Senate president was trying to convince Nigerians that in the new electoral bill, which they are working on right now, that they retain the transmission of election results electronically. But that's far from the truth, because when you listen to what he said, he made it clear that they did not remove electronic transmission of result, which was in the 2022 Electoral Act that was passed for the 2023 election. But that was not what Nigerian citizens want. The Nigerian citizens want that same clause in the 2022 Electoral Act, which they are trying to repeal. They want that that particular clause to be redefined in such a manner that it will compel INEC for them to be able to transmit the election electronically. You recall what happened when President Tinubu was announced as the president-elect in 2023. Mr. P2B, Atiku Abubakar, and the rest, they went to court. And you recall what the Supreme Court said in their judgment, that that transmitting election result electronically is not known by law. That is the IReV portal where the results are supposed to be transmitted. That is not known by law. And that is because the 2022 Electoral Act that was passed, which was used for the 2023 election, does not compel INEC to use that medium. Rather, it was INEC in their own guidelines inserted that transmission of result electronically to IReV in their own guideline. And their guideline is not law. Their guideline is just like a policy guiding INEC, and the stakeholders. So the Supreme Court threw, the issue away, and he gained no ground. The whole case went haywire. So based on that, the Nigerian citizens now demanded that in this current electoral, bill that the National Assembly is reviewing right now, that they should insert that the election result must be transmitted electronically in real time at the polling unit to the IReV, the viewing portal. That's what Nigerians want. However, when you look at what transpired in the National Assembly, having listened to different groups, particularly those who participated in the executive session where all the debates took place, they confirmed that during the debate, they agreed that electronic transmission of result must be there. They removed the word transfer of election result and changed it to electronic transmission, right? So this was agreed. But what played out in the chambers was different from what they agreed at the executive session, where the whole job was done. And don't forget, the House of Reps also agreed on that as well, and they started it in their own review that the result must be transmitted electronically. So the idea is to ensure that INEC does not have discretion to do what they want, just like what we experienced in 2023, telling us that they will transmit result electronically, which they never did. Rather, they glitched the entire server, shut it down, and told us that there was a glitch and the result was not transmitted. Even the ones that were transmitted to IReV was not administered in court, because the court said there's no law backing that. So that's why we want it to be law, not INEC discretion, not INEC guidelines. So the essence of all this is to ensure transparency in our election, reduce the number of cases that we go to court, and also build confidence and trust in the system. And this will motivate citizens to come and vote, knowing that their vote will count. And it will also help citizens to elect their leaders, the people they want to be the ones to lead them, not rigging election and putting people that Nigerians don't really want. So these are part of the things this electronic transmission of result would have helped to resolve. on the long term. So now, if you look at how the whole thing played out, you will know that these guys planned this thing, orchestrated it, and executed it before the very eyes of the senators who has gone and wasted their time on the executive session, and they came out, they were robbed before them at the National Assembly Red Chamber. So the Senate president played the Maradona style and was able to hit the gavel. Anyways, I will explain to you in details what I observed from that. But let's watch this video to see how he was able to rob other senators before their eyes to insert or remove the electronic transmission of result to retain what was there in 2022 election, which the Supreme Court has already, nullified that it has no basis to law. So, which means even if they retain the one of 2022, we are saying at the same spot, nothing changed. So, what's the point? What is the point of the review? Because that's the most critical, part of the review Nigerians want. Let's watch this video and see how, I won't use the word smartly, but we will see how he crookedly maneuvered the entire Senate to get what is happening today. Let's watch this video. We'll be right back.
A marathon deliberation that lasted more than 4 hours on Wednesday, Senate finally passed the much-awaited Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2026. There is now confusion as to what really transpired and the final position of the Senate on Clause 60, subsection 3 of the amendment bill that deals with electronic transmission of election results. All the senators in the chamber had earlier agreed behind closed doors and at various retreats and committee meetings, including the ad hoc committee chaired by Senator Ni Adigbomire, to adopt and pass electronic transmission of election results, and that it was exactly what they did. But an analysis of Wednesday's plenary shows that it was the exact opposite of what really happened in the chamber, as a chief whip, Senator Mohammed Monkuno, sought an amendment of Clause 60, drawing attention to the wordings of the law and urging that the chamber should retain the word transfer, previously enshrined in the 2022 Electoral Act. Monkuno's position was quickly seconded by the Deputy Senate President, and from the background, the voice of Abaribe could be heard, saying he couldn't hear what Akpabio said or the amendment sought. When he raised his hand to make an observation, it was too late, as Akpabio had hit the gavel, thereby endorsing the word transfer as contained in the old Electoral Act.
Instead of using the word transmission, we should retain what is in the existing word extant law, which is transfer.
Any seconder?
Yes, seconder. Second.
Yes, DSP.
I second.
Okay.
Did you hear what he said?
The motion has been moved and seconded. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
What you read is what we passed. Transmit, not transfer. What is in 2022 is transfer. And we don't want a law that is vague. We don't want a law that will be misinterpreted by anybody. We want a law that is clear, concise, and can be interpreted by all, and that is unambiguous.
Explaining later that the Senate did not reject electronic transmission of election results, Akpabio repeated that the Senate retained the provision of the old Electoral Act, arguing strongly that electronic transmission is already embedded in it.
This Senate, under my watch, has not rejected electronic transmission of results. We have retained what was in the previous provision. That's all we did.
Insisting that what was passed was electronic transmission of election results in real time, the Abaribe-led lawmakers then revealed that since the vote and proceeding for Wednesday was yet to be approved, the Harmonization Committee set up at plenary cannot begin any work, promising to monitor the process and ensure that when that time comes, the vote and proceeding will reflect electronic transmission of results in real time.
Welcome back. You saw what happened. Now, when you look at the senators, this is unlike senators, they don't usually make this kind of noise. So some of them was making noise behind, at the back, and that noise was kind of loud and distracted a lot of people. And during that noise, the Senate president never said order, just like he normally do, or call people to go to their seat and stuff. That's the way he normally do. You have to call people to order and maintain peace in the house. He never did it. He kept quiet. The next thing, Senator Monkuno stood up and said, that they should retain the transfer that was in the previous Electoral Act of 2022 and remove the transmission. that it's better that they retain exactly what was in the 2022, Electoral Act. For what for? These are supposed to be issues that are supposed to have been debated in the executive session, which has been done, and an agreement reached of what will be there. Why is he bringing it up again on the floor of the Red Chamber? That is the question you should ask yourself. That shows you this thing was well planned. And the moment he finished, the Senate president says, who is going to second? Senator Abaribe was even very close to the Mongono, but he didn't hear what he said. Many people didn't hear what he said, but Senate president, who was at the forefront, heard what he said. Think about that. So this is a game plan. And then, the moment they asked for seconder, the deputy Senate president stood up and seconded this. Immediately he hit the guy. Even when Abaribe was signaling to the Senate president that we did not hear what he said, so that he can repeat what he said, he hit the gavel. So you can see it's an orchestrated plan. Don't forget that it is the incumbent president that made sure he won that seat of Senate president. He's the one that put him there. Can't you see what is going on in the National Assembly? Is there anything from the executive they debate? They don't debate. Once the president sends anything, it's passed. He wants loan, it's passed. He wants private, he wants jet, it's passed. Anything, there's no debate. So it's the worst assembly we have seen. This 10th assembly is the worst National Assembly we have ever seen. However, we will discuss about National Assembly another day. Let's remain focused on this issue of electronic transmission of results. I've seen many elderly people coming on TV talking what I don't really understand, that Nigeria is not right for electronic transmission of results. Some argue that, there's a poor network across the country in so many remote areas, a lot of school of thoughts. But the fact remains that Nigeria is a place where there is network in different locations of the country. There's no location you don't have all the networks. You have Globacom, you have MTN, you have Etisalat and the rest of them. They are there. That's why there's no look and cranny of the country you won't see POS agent. What are they using in the POS? It's network, right? Secondly, when you look at remote areas, how do kidnappers operate? Even those in the bush, don't they use network to call victim family for ransom? Is it not network? Don't forget that Nigeria's central bank have an agenda to unbank a lot of Nigerians into the banking system. So their infrastructure, any village you are in now, you send message, it goes, you get alert from your banking transaction. So there is network. Besides, there is also Starlink, which can be provided. Even in the 2023 election, many citizens provided their own modem to help the polling stations to transmit the result electronically free of charge. They volunteer. Many people brought their modem, thinking there was network problem, not knowing that server was shut down. So issue of internet or whatever, that's not an issue to discuss. It's a wasted effort discussing that. Again, Nigeria is not trying to get 100% electronic transmission. If they can succeed in transmitting 80% of the result electronically, then there's huge progress. Before the next election, maybe it may be 100%. But now they want to start from somewhere. That is the goal. That is the objective. If we secure 80% of the election, it means at least we have 80% credible people that Nigeria wants to lead them in different positions of authority. That is the idea. But these guys, I've said it before, it's difficult for them because they don't want to make a law that will deny them opportunity to return or deny their principal, who they are working for, opportunity not to return as well. So that is what just happened in the National Assembly. Nigerians were robbed in a broad daylight. That is what happened. That's why many senators, Senator Abaribe, Senator Victor Ume, Natasha, but eventually all the opposition, party members, they were like, what really happened? This is not what we discussed. What is going on? But the only hope we have is during the harmonization, when they bring, proceeding of how and what they changed, replaced, put in, not change. When they bring that report, showing what and what they did, then that will conflict with what Senate President just did. If they'll be sincere enough, that report will be able to hold them accountable for them to, change the information to what is supposed to be. And they claim they represent Nigerians. Why are they doing what Nigerians don't want? What citizens want is to have that clause that result must be transmitted electronically in real time from the polling station. That is what Nigeria wants. But they are doing what Nigeria doesn't want. So that is a problem. Serious red flag. Anyways, when issues like this happen, personally, when I have problem, first thing I think is solution to my problem. So, because the more you cry, the more your problem exacerbates. So, you just sit down and think the way out, how to solve your problem. That's the way to go. So, I've sat down, look at this whole thing, and told myself, let me not rely 100% on these guys that something can change, during the harmonization. that the one the House of Rep passed retained, put in the clause Nigerians want. But we don't know how it's going to play out on that day of voting, because this same group who orchestrated this maneuver, on that day of voting, you will hear them shout, "Yay!" that day. Because they won't do, it's not two-third or something they will count. It's voice vote. And some of them who doesn't even understand what is happening will shout, "Yeah," and they will hit the gavel because he knows what he's doing. And he come and be trying to fool himself, thinking he's fooling Nigerians, to tell Nigerians that they retain, that they did not remove electronic transmission of result. If you are returning 2022, issues that the court has thrown away, what is the point? It means you did nothing. You did nothing. So, guys, I've come up with my own solution to this, and which I think the opposition parties need to look into and be able to work along that line. But in this context, when I say opposition party, I think I should focus on ADC, because from what I'm looking at, they may be the people that may make a little noise, because for other parties, PDP is in comatose, SDP, what other parties, Labour Party, nobody is hearing anything from them. And my anger with the opposition parties is that Nigeria doesn't even have opposition. They don't. What they do, members of the ADC, P2B, tweets, or maybe if he have one or two folders, he goes to campaign for the FCT, campaign stuff. He may speak one or two things. Then Atiku, he also tweets from his X handle. But that's not what we want. Sending messages from S or doing press release or whatever it is will not change anything. It changes nothing. They don't care about what you are saying. They already have attack dogs who will come under that tweet and bash you. So there's no point doing all this thing. Recall what happened in 2012, preceding to 2015 election. These APC, people, they are the people who set up, the removal of subsidy protest that took over the whole of Nigeria in January 2012, when Jonathan increased fuel price a little bit. They are the people who took to the street. They protest. Buhari, El-Rufai them at that time. All of them. Save Nigerian Group, SNG, if you remember. They protested. Nobody shot them. Nobody killed them. Nobody arrested them. They even carried a coffin, put Jonathan's, pictures and all this, and was doing protests. Nobody tear gassed them. Nobody poured water canister on them or whatever. So, opposition, you guys are not supposed to be tweeting. You guys are supposed to march to the National Assembly. They are representing all of us. And then march peacefully and then patriotically to the National Assembly. Make your grievances known. Let them know that this is not what we want. This is what Nigerians want. That is what democracy is all about. If you don't have freedom to express yourself, then you are no more practicing democracy. That is it. So go beyond all this, your tweet, all this, press release. It changes nothing. They need to see you in action. So they are doing all these things because they don't value the opposition. They think there's no opposition. That's why they are mobilizing all the governors to APC, so that there will be like a one-party affair. So you guys need to wake up, do the needful, organize, people. Why Nigerians don't even protest these days? Because when they go out, they tear gas them, they shoot on them, and they pour them water. But when there are known faces, imagine Atiku Abubakar in the forefront, P2B in the forefront, Senator David Mark in the forefront. They are walking down the street, making their grievances known to the government. Which police will shoot? Or which police will pour them water? Or which police will tear gas them? That's the point. So Nigerians need known faces who will work with them. They are eager, but most of them are afraid because of the way they treat them. There's nobody that works with them. Nobody is asking anybody to go and destroy things or attack people. No. Everywhere in the world, protest is about marching on the street. Police will even give you cover. You guys will hold your megaphone, hold your placard, and say what you want to say. That is protest. Anything beyond that, I don't know about that. So this is what holds, the ruling party accountable. And it's not just about this transmission of result. When they bring out policies that, is not favorable to the country, that's how people need to march. Look at what is going on in the tax law. They want to go ahead when the National Assembly is still reviewing, and, all those kind of things are not the kind of things that's supposed to be happening in a same country. However, my solution to this is simple. Some few steps. One, I think the opposition party, they need to create their own server. All right, their own server or portal, whichever way you want to call it, that will collect information for them. When they have created that, they will not disclose it anywhere until the election day. They will hand it over to their agents. Two, they must have party agents across all the polling units. It is possible. Once you are mobilized in every state, you appoint people in different wards to be your polling agent, and then they take record of what is going on. Anything that is happening, they have their phones, they take video, and then those information they will collate, they will store them in the server. Number 3 is that when the election, the votes are counted and everything is concluded, and from EC8A is filled, signed by all party agents and signed by the electoral officer in that polling booth, the next thing to do is those party agents will take a scan, they snap, the from EC8A and upload it from there to the server immediately. They now have their hard copy, but they will submit the soft copy to that server. So imagine when all the wards across the country, each party agent in those wards transmit that result to that server created by the opposition, right? By the opposition party. Let's say ADC now has this server, and all their party agents collect this information from that day, from EC8A, signed and stamped by INEC official, and they snap it and upload it to that server. At the end of the day, the party will now download all those results and sort it word by word, local government by local government, state by state, and print it and keep. That will be for what? For court case, in case they need to go to court. So whatever INEC will present at the end of the day, that document will be the proof of what transpired on that day. And as they upload the scan copy, they do a video of the same copy and mention the polling unit, where they are, the date of the election, the particular election that is run at that moment, and then the year. For example, this is polling booth 4 at Ward 8, Umuokpa, Awka South Local Government Area, Anambra State. On this day, 4th of February 2027. Then you take, before you upload, you do a video there, show polling booth where you are, and and then you upload the video, you upload the scan copy, 2 items. That's what you upload. All those videos will serve also as evidence. So I think the lawyers, the legal team can tell them how those videos and those documents can be admissible in court, so that they will follow that guideline the legal team will provide. So all these agents will be trained on what to do, how to do it, so that you prepare for second phase. We know that the judiciary is somehow shaky, but provide evidence, because the previous 2023 election, they said there was no evidence. Where are the result sheet from each polling unit? That was they were asking Peter B and Atiku at the court at that time. So this one will solve that problem. They have the hard copy, they have the soft copy. All right, and then it has timestamp, the time it was uploaded, which location, and all this. They will get the server. They will get all this information from the server, and this will help when they will be triangulating the election result, because we all know how they play this game. When you guys have finished at the polling unit, they collect this information at the local government level. First rigging starts from that local government INEC secretariat, right? When they are done at that level, they will move to the state level. When they get to the state level, they also do their stuff there, changes, figures, and what have you. They remove that one that was written at the word and bring a new fresh one and fill it, put names of people, sign it. That's the way, that's what they do. And then at the national level again, final office of INEC, where the collation is done again, something will say, happen. So there are different layers where they sow this evil seed in the result. So when this is done, by the time SDP has the same image, ADC has the same image, Labour Party has the same image from the same word, when INEC presents something different, then INEC will be held accountable. So this will help, for them to be able to collect this. But they must have, party agents in all the wards. In all the wards, they must have party agents in all the wards and polling units. So the opposition should also have their people in all the collation centers. When I say people, not just anybody, people that cannot be corruptible, because most of these guys, you put them as party agents. When they go there, they give them cash, they look away, they change figures. It is what it is. So you have to look for people who have credibility, people who you can vouch for some point that no matter what they give to this guy, he will not change his mind, he will stick his ground. Because I don't know, most of us who does these things, they give you small money, 100,000, 1 million. What is 1 million? How many days will you spend 1 million? And you move your eye, you are changing figure for somebody else who you are better than. You are better than the person. You change figure for him to go and be leading you. And tomorrow, you'll be complaining that you don't have a job, you finish university, you don't have a job, you complain that things are hard, when you have sold your birthright and given it to someone else who doesn't know what to do with it. You can imagine how people are shouting nay and nay. People that were in the executive session, people who knew that they removed transfer of result and put transmission of result electronically. The moment Monguno said what he said, the Senate president asked, Deputy Senate president who was around him there, seconded, and he hit the gavel. And he said, those in favor say aye. Who are the people that say aye? Who are the people? That is the point. So because they don't care. They don't care. So Nigerians, you need to care. You need to shine your eyes. You need to wake up. Because this is the table where the national cake is shared. It is now. So if you don't get a seat on this table, forget it. You are out of the equation. So opposition party, wake up. Hold these people accountable. Whatever they are doing, just look at what is going on in America. The president said he's doing tariff. He's tariffing, countries. They went to court. Opposition went to court. The matter is with Supreme Court now for decision. He said he's doing deportation. They are holding him. So anything the executive order the president signed, you see opposition attacking in one way or the other, slowing him down unnecessarily, trying to, show him that they are there. That's exactly what they are doing. So that anything he's doing is first thing, how will the opposition party react? But in Nigeria, there's no opposition. That's why these people do anything at will. President submit request for loan. It's done. No opposition will talk. P2B will only tweet. I think we may tweet. That's the end. So what is it? Is that how to do opposition? No, that's not how to do opposition. And are you waiting for citizens to go so that they will tear gas them and shoot them and all this? They need you people to be among them to do that. So you guys need to mobilize, because otherwise, forget about this ticket. Who will get a DC ticket? This is the main ticket. When you miss this one and you miss the ratings that will secure that ticket you are fighting for in that party, you are out of the game. Even if you secure the ticket of ADC, what is the point? They rig you out at the main election, just like what happened in 2023. So what's the essence of the ticket? That is the point. So first thing first, in my place, they said, Abalakana Azan, Onyejiji, Anakoji. That is to say, when you are dragging a land without anything, the person who has the yam seedling, as he's dragging the land, is planting the yam seedling. You came empty-handed. So by the time you will turn your back, he has already taken the whole land. That's exactly what these guys are doing. They have taken almost all the governors, almost about 30 governors out of 36, are in APC. And they took about 6 of them or so from PDP. So why are they there? Because they failed. That's where they are returned back to, the next 4 years will be secure, because they know what they are planning. They are not planning for people's vote to count, because what just happened in the Senate confirms that they don't care about your vote. They know what to do to get their seat back. So we need to wake up and understand what is playing out in the environment where we are, so that we know how to react and how to respond when issues like this occur. Well, I've heard that some people are ready to occupy the National Assembly, but they are on recess now. I think they are resuming on 24th or something like that. But whatever you are doing, do it peacefully, patriotically. Don't destroy anything. Don't attack anybody. Just make your voice to be heard. That is the most important thing. So that's where it's going to be. But you guys should be thinking out of the box now, right? On what to do. What is plan B? Assuming the win in this whole transmission stuff. What next? How can you people, survive in this election, season that's coming up next year? And then you have to secure the angle of going to court. You guys went to court 2023, so you know what Supreme Court said. You got the judgment. You had everything they said. So start working from that, response of the Supreme Court on that election judgment. From that judgment, what they say, that's where you start working from to put in place all those gaps they mentioned that was not there, especially the one that concerns you people as a party. That's where you start from. They ask you, where is from ECA 8, your agent collected at the party. You don't have polling agent across the whole, polling unit. As per Labour Party at that time. I don't know about PDP. So now it's important for you to have them across all polling units. So you need to prepare for that. That's what it is. You need to have them. And you make sure that they get the document that day, their own copy, and transmit it to a server and submit the hard copy again to your party secretary. That's where it works. You will have evidence of what happened. Any evidence of violence, they record it, mention where the incident is happening, mention the day, the time, the ward, the polling unit, the local government, the state, so that it will be on record where the video is coming from, so that the court will be guided when they look at it, right? So I don't know why they're afraid of transparency, because they know how they got to their position. That's why they are doing all this stuff. But I believe that if Nigerians should wake up and do the needful, that things will start changing. But everybody is sleeping. Everybody is just docile, tweeting, talking on Facebook and all these things. It won't change anything. They need to see your physical presence. They need to feel you. All right. So that's why they said, remember, people will be there. They said it's 3 people in a room tweeting. That's the way they see everybody. As we tweet, just as I'm making this video now, I'm only trying to sensitize people so that people will understand what is at stake. That's just it. I don't even have a huge platform, but the little I have, I thank people who have subscribed to my channel and all those stuff. So what is there is this. I will keep saying what I need to say to encourage people, to come out and be part of the process. That's how things change. You can't change some certain things from the outside. You need to be on the inside to change it. And that's the way we will let people who will be on the inside to help change the situation. So that's what it is. Well, I don't know what else to say, but I think it's a disheartening, period for Nigerians, because the one single simple thing they are asking the Senate to do, the Senate failed them. They have been failing them, approving loans, approving private, jet, presidential jet, and all the yacht and stuff like that. But this one thing that citizens have asked for, still they turn the citizens down. But the citizens need to show them that that office they occupy, it doesn't belong to them. They are the office of the citizen. They only ask them to be there on their behalf. So citizens should wake up and do the needful. Except you want the situation you are in today to continue to worsen in the next 4 years. I don't know, but it's your choice to make. So guys, I'm going to let this slide there. I don't know what you think about this whole thing, but I don't know, but it's not looking good that the next 2027 election, the voter apathy will be worse than what we saw in 2023, as the case may be, because people have lost confidence in the whole process. Therefore, many people will not turn out, many people will not even vote, so they will just write the result and announce themselves. By the time they govern themselves and it leads to something else, well, I don't know. But I keep saying it that these politicians will be the people that will trigger revolution in the country. I pray it doesn't come to that point, but they have to do what is right, what is good for the citizen. That's why they are there. So guys, my comment section is open for you. Whatever is your view concerning this matter, please kindly put it down in the comment section, and we'll continue to do justice to that. We won't rest until we see things change in our country. So I want to say thank you to you for watching this video. But if you are still new to my channel, please kindly like and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel and put on your notification bell so that when my next new video drop, you'll be among those that will be notified. Thank you for watching. I'm signing out. I'll see you in my next video. Do have a wonderful day. See ya.